Welcome back to VMware View Administration Training. Let's talk a little bit about the VMware VCA4 Desktop Certification Exam. For this lesson, I'm going to do a quick overview of the VCA4 Desktop exam. We'll talk about the objectives of the exam and cover a few tips if you want to take the exam. So let's talk about what the VCA4 DT exam is. It stands for the VMware Certified Associate 4 Desktop. It leads you to an entry-level certification designed for desktop administrators who manage View on a daily basis. The exam will test your ability to manage an existing View infrastructure, monitor that infrastructure for errors, and troubleshoot any issues that may occur. Unlike other VMware certification exams, there are no prerequisites that require you to take any courses or obtain any certifications ahead of time. So it truly is an entry-level certification that requires nothing more than some experience and knowledge of the View administration interface and infrastructure that makes up VMware View. The test is proctored by Pearson VUE, and it should be available at any authorized testing center. The exam is given in English, but for countries that don't have English as a primary language, you're given an extra 30 minutes to complete the exam. The exam itself consists of 70 multiple-choice questions, and you're given 90 minutes to complete them. There's also a pre-exam survey, which has its own separate clock and set of questions. To pass the exam, you'll need at least a score of 300, which is determined based on a scaled scoring method. Your potential score will end up anywhere between 100 and 500. The calculation of the score varies based on the questions that are given to you during your actual exam. Some questions carry heavier weight than others, and you may not see the same set of questions that I or others who have taken the exam may have seen. Now let's talk about what the exam will actually test you on. For each of the objectives, I've included the name of the lessons that are relevant towards that particular objective. The first objective of the exam is monitoring the View environment, including the user sessions, the health of the different pieces of the environment, and the provisioning process for desktop pools. You can go back and review the Monitoring View lesson and the Troubleshooting View lesson to help you study for this objective. The next objective tests your ability to maintain pools, desktops, clients, and users. This is obviously a big section and is covered under 4 different lessons within this series: the Configuring View Desktops lesson, the Maintaining Desktop Pools lesson, and the View Local Mode and View Kiosk Mode lessons. The next objective is to manage thin app entitlements within View. This is just the entitlement section of it. It won't actually test your ability to create a thin app package, but your knowledge of how a thin app package works and is deployed is integral. So go back and watch the thin app deployment lesson for most of the details that you'll need. The next objective is troubleshooting and describing the View infrastructure, which will test your ability to troubleshoot the View infrastructure and describe its different components. Lessons of particular interest include the View Local Mode and View Kiosk Mode lessons, the Printing lesson, and the Troubleshooting View lesson. Next, you'll need to know how to administer users, the sizes of pools, and the user's data. Head back and review the Maintaining Desktop Pools lesson and the User Profiles and Data lesson for more information on this objective. Next, you'll need to know how to identify View infrastructure components and their licensing. This is covered in the View Components and Licensing lesson. Now for a few tips on how to prepare and take the exam. First of all, review the VCA4 DT exam blueprint. I'll provide a link at the end of this lesson. This will be your guide for all of the topics that you'll need to prepare for the exam. Since the certification is intended for daily administrators of View, you will need to know the View Administrator interface extremely well. You'll need to know by memory where all of the different options are within the interface, and where you would need to go to perform any particular task. Though this video series did cover the installation and configuration of a View environment, if you're taking the VCA4 DT exam, you'll really want to concentrate just on the administration aspects of it. The design, installation, and configuration topics are covered under a different certification exam. You want to make sure you have a good understanding of the steps that are taken by Vue to provision a desktop pool, how Composer works, and the connectivity steps that the client will go through to connect to a desktop. This will help you with questions that deal with both how to do these particular tasks and also what to do when they fail. And don't forget to study for and gain a good robust understanding of different edge cases that you may not deal with in your day-to-day job, like local mode and kiosk mode, and even location-based printing, all of which are covered on the exam, but don't exist in every single environment. And make sure to study the Vue documentation thoroughly. There's a lot of great information in there that can help you answer almost every question on the exam. Continuing on with exam tips, I would recommend building a lab environment where you can break and fix items that you normally wouldn't be able to within your own production environment. This lab environment could be a complete infrastructure in and of itself, or could exist purely within a product like VMware Workstation, where all components are virtualized. This hands-on experimentation can help fill in a lot of gaps and really ingrain into your mind where the different pieces are within the Vue Administrator console. Feel free to go back and review all the lessons while you're in front of your lab environment, so you can perform the exact same tasks in your own environment as a way to walk you through the steps that you need to do in order to prepare for this exam. While reviewing the blueprint for the exam, if anything is unclear, or you don't feel like you have a full comprehension of that topic, go back and review those lessons. Load them on your iPod and watch them while you're on the go. Go ahead and take notes and review them while you're using your lab environment, or while you're using your own production environment at work. I find sometimes simply writing a note down is enough to help enforce it into my own memory. Plus it becomes my guide for the things that I had a hard time understanding and may need a review later. VMware's provided a mock exam out on their website, which I'll provide a link to in the next slide. This mock exam is most useful for helping you understand what the test will be like. Every vendor does their certification exams differently, and understanding how that exam is going to work before you sit down can save you a lot of time and grief while you're in the front of the actual exam. VMware does recommend 3 courses to help you prepare for the VCA4 DT exam. These courses will have a lot of overlap with this video series, because the series is intended to provide you real-world skills to successfully manage a Vue environment. These skills are the same skills that will be required for the VCA4 DT exam. Finally, I recommend searching for and reading a lot of the great content out there on the web and interacting with the many experienced professionals that exist out in the social media community. The people that are out there interacting with one another and writing blog posts are more than happy to help out others, myself included. I invite you out there, ask questions directly to people that you find knowledgeable and that you trust, and take advantage of our collective experiences with Vue and taking this particular exam. So some of those resources out on the web that I would recommend include the Vue documentation. This includes not only the administration guide, but also guides on how to prepare your environment and the architecture of a Vue infrastructure. Spend some time on the VCA DT community site, where people have collected knowledge about the exam, and those with questions can post their queries and get responses from other people interested in the exam. The VMware certification site contains a lot of great information about this exam, as well as all of the other exams that VMware offers, including the VCA4 DT exam blueprint and the VCA4 DT mock exam, the URLs for which I've provided to you here. So that's the overview, objectives, and a few exam tips for the VCA4 DT exam. I wish you luck on the exam and hope that this video series has been of great use to you for preparing for it.